Good morning. I'm at the South Florida Renaissance Festival. I'm out here today doing some photography with the Nikon Z8. I have two of those cameras with me. Along with those two Nikon Z8s, I brought the Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8 lens. And then I also brought the Tamron 50 to 400 millimeter lens. My plan right now is to go ahead and start my day taking pictures with the Tamron 35 to 150. A lot of the photos I'm going to probably do a lot wide open so that I can throw out those backgrounds and eliminate any distractions. The nice thing about coming early in the morning is parking was pretty easy, and getting in right now and walking around and doing this kind of stuff. My thought process is that the 50 to 400 is the lens I'll use for anything that's action, where I want to go ahead and have more range. And also they do a really nice bird show here, and I've gotten some really nice photographs in the past using long lenses. That's the plan for that lens right now. I think I can probably get most of the walking stuff with the 35 to 150. The thought process behind bringing these two particular lenses is I also want to see how well they perform photographing action, and just how good the image quality is as far as sharpness. This is a great opportunity because of the fact that there's people and action happening here, and then there'll be horses and bird photography opportunity. It's a great way to go ahead and test your gear out, see how it's performing, and also for you to get practice in so that when you go out there, you're ready to shoot. You got to stay busy with the photography if you're not always practicing. Next time you go out there, it'll feel like you don't know how to use your camera. I love events like this because there's all kinds of different photo opportunities. So right now, I'm probably going to take some photos of this show here. This guy's a pretty talented, fun one to photograph. It'll be a good opportunity to see how the face and eye autofocus tracking performs. Now, as you can see, the light will be a challenge. Most of the stages are typically in a nice shaded area. You will need like a fast lens or crank up that ISO quite a bit. The nice thing about having the Tamron 35 f2 to 150 2.8 lens will give me certainly plenty of opportunities to photograph in low light. One thing I really hate is those blown out backgrounds, so I'm going to go ahead and switch sides and see if I can have that sun to my back, or at least to the side. Just had an opportunity to photograph the joust, use the motor drive and the continuous autofocus. Face and eye autofocus tracking for the jouster, not the horse, because they are the most important person, even though you definitely want some photographs with that horse in it. I have the camera on a continuous motor drive and a continuous autofocus. Place the box on the face of the jouster and go ahead and compose the image the way I would like. Now I'm going to have an opportunity to take some photos of the birds of prey. I always enjoy that. Hopefully I'm in the right spot. I'm hoping that I can photograph the bird where it's flying towards me. Had a great opportunity to photograph owl. Thought the camera performed well as far as the focus box getting on the face of the owl. And then I got a red shoulder hawk. So it was a challenge. The bird's not flying up high, it's flying down low, and you don't particularly know when it's going to take off. The location that I sat down in ended up being the right spot. I did keep the bird autofocus tracking on. Right now, it's a slow time where they do a parade. I'm going to see if perhaps I can get some photos of that. I don't know if I'm missing it already. I need to find the location where I can actually get in front of them and have them come my way. For that, I believe I'm going to go ahead and switch now back to the Tamron 35 to 150 millimeter lens. You guys out there that perhaps would love to get into like street photography but are a little bit shy about doing something like that, coming to a place like this is a great place to go ahead and practice and start to feel more comfortable with doing that type of photography. Reason for that is everyone here is looking to be photographed. They actually have a photo contest and everything. Even the public, a lot of them come in dressed up, and they actually probably make the biggest portion of the people that are dressed up in that time period costumes. So this is a great place for people to come out and practice on their skills, and also on their ability to go ahead and approach a person and ask them, hey, can I take your photograph? Keep that in mind and think about it. If you're into street photography, I think this would be a great place to come out and practice your skills. One thing I love about the Nikon Z8 is the placement of the ISO button. I love the fact that I can go ahead and press that button and quickly change the ISO. And what I do is I have the camera to my eye, and I see the ISO changing in the viewfinder, and seeing what my exposures is doing. I do everything manually. I just enjoy photographing that way. I feel like I'm more involved. Great opportunity to go ahead and get pictures of the Steel Knights fighting. More of a challenge this time, as there was quite a few people on the field, and I was trying to get a nice clean shot. I was actually able to change positions. So I shot from a little bit of a lower angle and got them facing me, and I also shot from the side and got them from a horizontal angle. I was trying to close the aperture for most of the photos, trying to get both steel fighters in focus. I would go ahead and put the box on the one that I thought was the most interesting. For the steel fight, I was having some issues getting the focus box to stay on the face of the fighters. All of them had their faces covered, so the eye autofocus tracking would be complicated because of the fact that there's really no eye for it to find. Better way to do it would be to turn off the face and eye autofocus tracking and actually place the box on the subject. I found this to be a much better way of doing it. The ISO, I was bumping it up quite a bit, trying to maintain a fast shutter speed. These are fast moving subjects, and I wanted to make sure that I did not get blurry because of the fact of the shutter speed being too slow. So it's not going to be 1:30 in the afternoon. The next thing that I'm going to go ahead and wait for is the jousting, and that'll be taking place at 2. So this gives me about 30 minutes to go ahead and rest and relax a little bit. Once that is over, then I get an opportunity again to photograph the birds of prey. Now, a couple of tips that I am going to give you when you're coming out to something like this. It's quite dusty out here. Great to be using zoom lenses because that way I'm not changing lenses on the cameras since I brought 2 of them, and I don't have to worry about dust or dirt getting into my sensor. Finally, I drained one battery on one of the cameras. I managed to get 1,285 photos out of that. I don't think it's that bad considering I'm using continuous autofocus and the motor drive for most of my photography out here today. I saw this pottery that was being lit nice by the light. Shot it wide open. There's not going to be a lot of depth of field for this picture because of the fact that I did use a wide open aperture. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video out here today, photographing with the Nikon Z8 and the Tamron 35 to 150 millimeter lens, along with the Tamron 50 to 400 millimeter lens. I ask you to please like and subscribe and provide any positive feedback that you can, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you guys. Thank you for watching.